So let's do a video. I'm going to explain a bit my software, what I added. So this is hopefully a more easier, beginner-friendly video that I'm trying to make, because I have a hard time being beginner-friendly recently. I don't realize how much I have learned, and so I'm trying to be simple. At times I have a hard time to do it. So let's do some chart presentation of Taylor Swift. So most of you are probably aware of Western zodiac system, and in this system she has, at least with the most known birth time, because we're not sure of her birth time, she's Capricorn ascendant with Saturn, Mercury on the ascendant in Capricorn, and she has a moon in Cancer with Jupiter, so it's exalted a very good moon here, and Mars in Scorpio. She has a very good chart here. So this software presents like many type of astrology. So this is the most known tropical astrology, what Western astrologers use. And then we have the Aditya circle, which was presented by my teacher recently. And I added a new screen recently. So there's multiple chart view here, and you also have the elements explained here, and some experimentation with human design that I may actually remove, because maybe it's a bit too experimental for software. So we have here the North Indian chart for those who know a bit more Indian astrology. And I created this new screen which which give you the body parts linked to the sign. So for example, here we see that Venus is in the feet, which is the exaltation of Venus. So we have a proud body part here. And I think this could explain why she do what she does as an artist. Because when you have a body part which is stronger, you tend to use that more. And in the feet, this is someone who can be graceful and can be more apt to have endurance in those in someone who does a lot of shows. You need a lot of endurance, and I think she does have that. So let's keep going. You also have the South Indian chart, which shows other things. It's more connected to the sign, and it's what most Vedic astrologers use. And then I think I did it all here. Then we have the wheel again, and you have other options in the wheel. If you have followed Ernst's course, which is my teacher, you can use this wheel here for specification of for other complex thing, but I'm not going to touch here because it's going to be overly complex for most people. Even if the tools is quite easy to use with the software, but if you don't really understand what it is, you're going to have a hard time. So let's keep going. So let's now show you what I added. So before we had this transit screen here where you could look at where the planets are transiting. So right now we have Venus on Vivaswan, which is the equivalent of Virgo, we have Jupiter, which is almost in the new sign, Mercury here, and Mars is also changing sign. That's quite something here. I think many problems we had before was because Mars was in Mitra and it wasn't good there. It was creating problem with friendship, and so, and also I think many issue I had with the software was coming from that, because Mars is related to computer and engineering, all those things. So this is it. Then the moon is transiting currently in Pusha, which is the equivalent of Aquarius. And this was in the wheel, so this was already there, but I added something new here. You can now have transits with the North Indian chart, and I always love to use the North Indian chart when I was using tropical classic zodiac, because I thought the house was more important than the sign at the time. And for example, here you can see the moon here. I made this triangle here. I think I'm probably the first one who created the transit for the North Indian chart. For sure, I know in Kala it's not available. I think Ernst doesn't really like too much the North Indian chart. Prefers the South Indian chart. So here, because I see you always use the South Indian most of the time, unless he's forced to. And it's okay, we all have our preference. So, and for me, I always preferred at times to use the North Indian chart. So here you can see, for example, she has Moon, Jupiter in the 7th house, and right away, if you are used to use the North Indian chart, right away you see that the Moon and the Moon are, the Jupiter and the Moon are in the 7th house. And so this is a very, I think, a very important chart, because right away it gives you the placement. Of course, if you are used to using this type of screen, otherwise you would be lost. So here you see Mars transiting Varuna, and I also added here transits for the South Indian chart. And the South Indian chart, I think it's the most useful because for the transit tool, actually, because you right away you can see you can see inside, like you can make your mind quite easily. And Ernst, when he was explaining one of the course for Vimshottari Dasha, I think it's in the course called Easy Vimshottari Dasha or whatever, something easy, and it's a very short course. And he explained one of his short course. So he explained very easily how to use transits, and you have to right click all the time on the chart to make the transit appear. And I think it's a bit too, it's very easy to use even in Kala, but I like if you use it all the time, like if you use it for like 30 charts in a row, I think at some point it becomes annoying to right click all the time. And that was one of my annoyance with Kala. And maybe I can actually show it up right now in Kala, because oh no, it's asking again all the time. I think because I switched from Windows and Linux all the time, I have to verify it all the time. I don't know why. Probably a bug in Kala. So yeah, I cannot show it. But anyway, so you can do that and more. So for example, here Taylor Swift is in a Vimshottari Dasha of the Sun. She's going to be in a Moon Vimshottari Dasha in 2006, so in 6 months in December. And one of the techniques that Ernst is teaching is that you can actually create a chart for this moment when the Dasha starts. And you can do that in Gala, but it's a bit annoying if you do it all the time for for many charts. So I created that. So here you can create an entire chart directly for this Dasha. So it creates a chart. You can do whatever you want with that chart itself. And is it this chart? Verifying. Yeah. So 2000 and yeah, just. And so usually you would prefer to then remove the transit tool because it's going to be annoying otherwise. So you can see this chart here, and it's a bit like a Vimshottari chart for the Vimshottari. So you can read it and predict what could happen to her when she switch chart. So maybe here she would have some little problem with how people see her as an entertainment person, because Parjanya is Pisces, so it can give a problem with how you are presented in the media or TV, etc., because it's what you produce as a video. So it can be cinema, it can be movies, it can be scripting a movie, for example, etc. So she could have problem with that. And it's about spirituality, but it's more than just spirituality. Most people would just say when you have an affliction in Pisces that maybe you had problem with religion or whatever, but it's more than just religion. So it can affect many areas of life. So here we see an exchange also, I think. No exchange. No exchange. I wasn't sure. So Moon is in Mitra, Mercury here, so no. I thought I saw something. But so you can do that, but you can also do it directly in the chart. For example, here I'm going back here, and I want to show the transits as overlay directly. And you can see here right away now, in that December 20, she would have this chart here as transit. So this is the moment she enters this new Dasha, and you can compare it right away to the chart itself. So you can see here it's affecting Pisces, Venus in Pisces, and I think it's what's making her popular. This Venus in Pisces here is very well placed, and yeah, I don't see the degree here, but you can add the degree if you want, and it's in the first degree of Pisces, which is actually what Ernst talked about yesterday. And you can also, you could be able to do that here, and you can see that Pisces here is in the Apsara, in the Trimsamsa, but I said I shouldn't do that. It's for more complicated chart interpretation. But you can see also that this works in the north, in the wheel chart. So you can see the same thing here. You can go here and create, for, let's say you want to know what will happen when she enters this Dasha in 26. You open it as chart overlay and it updates right away. So we can see here something completely different. And so yeah, Moon would be in Indra, for example. And you can also do it in the North Indian chart if you want to do it also. Like I like to use this North Indian chart more than most people, I think. And so when I created that, I was quite happy of the results. It's quite nice, I think. Hopefully I'm not the only one to like it. So that's about it for this video. I'm going to not do too much. Maybe what I could do is a slight interpretation, how to use it in a beginner friendly way. Like for example here, what would be most obvious is how to interpret this Saturn and Mercury in the first house. But let's go back to the wheel chart so it's easier to see for most people. And so here you can see that she has Mercury and Saturn there. And if you're a beginner, the most easy way to understand and interpret a chart, a conjunction, is to actually use the Avasthas. So here we can see that Saturn is helped by Mercury, and because it's in the same sign, and it's also hurt by the moon because the moon is actually opposite Saturn, so it has an influence on it, a bad one. And in blue, this is a neutral influence. You also have Jupiter helping Saturn. And Saturn itself is quite strong. It's in Mula Trikona. So if you click on it, you have the proud Avasthas, which is Mula Trikona here. I didn't click on Saturn here. I click on Venus. So Mula Trikona. It's not the same thing. So she has a strong Saturn, but on the first house is not so good because of the Digbala, which is one of the most important strengths. And here you can see that the Digbala is not so good here. And so this is causing problem to Mercury especially, but Mercury is quite strong on the ascendant, but it's annoyed by the moon and by Saturn. So she has a very actually bad Mercury due to this. So this is how you would interpret this, and you can click on it and it will give you the explanation of it or should actually, if I put this in, you will see more interpretation. If you click here, what, it's not showing up for some reason. Why is that? Yeah, I have to click there actually. When you click on the Trimsamsa or the aura ring, you will have the affliction coming up here directly. So for example here in this part of Pusha, which is relating to the 7th house, she has some problems there. She has minus 181 affliction and uplifted by 1. All that actually seems a lot of why we have that here. This could be a bug actually. There is no help here. We have a bug. What about here? Yeah, it's working. Here, yeah, it's working. For some reason it's not working here, so yeah, I have to fix this. But it should be afflicted only, I think, because I don't see anything. I don't see any. Maybe it's because of Saturn is receiving at the same time some help here. Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, that Saturn is helping here. That's why. Yeah, it's calculating 42 from the Mulatri corner plus 60. So no, it's not a bug actually. It's correct. So yeah, it can become complicated if you add all the interpretation here, but you can read it. You have the healthy expression, you have the theme itself, and the afflicted expression. So here this can give problem with others because it's in the 7th, it's connected to the 7th house. You can see here when you over a sector inside the aura, you can see the house which is lighting up here, and you can also over the house itself, and it will light up every part of the chart which can be connected to the 7th house. So this can give problem with the public here when we have a transit here, and I think this is the case here. If we add the transits, you can see the moon is transiting here, but the moon is maybe not important here because it's not a new moon. You would need a new moon. Actually, it's a full moon actually, so yeah, we are going to have a problem there. Some problem can come up because it's a full moon transiting a Mercury here in Vata and in Pusha, which is the aura of the sign itself. And so she may have problem with the public today or tomorrow, because we have an affliction here. So this can mean hatred against others projected outward. You can read that, and this can be annoying, especially in the 1st house here. Saturn is particularly not good on the ascendant, and so yeah, might want to watch out what's going to happen there. So thank you for watching. Hopefully I wasn't too technical, but still I need to explain. Many astrologers are going to need those explanations. So this is mainly for professional astrologers still, even if I try to be as simple as possible. It's not oriented towards full beginners. But you can still play with it, even if you don't fully understand what I say. You can still play with it, click on it, have fun with it. It's meant to be easy, even if it's not easy in practice. But you don't need to know it all. So thank you for watching, and see you later.